Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Talitha. I would like to present the topic about business organizations, the internal environment. So let's jump to the topic. A business organization is an individual or group of individuals who collaborate in order to achieve certain commercial objectives. In essence, it is an economic system where goods and services are exchanged in return for profit. Business organizations come in a variety of forms, and each varies in type and size, from small family businesses to large multinational corporations. A business organization can be privately owned, not-for-profit, or state-owned. An example of a large corporate business is Pepsi Company, while a small business such as an independently owned restaurant or shop is termed a private enterprise. These business organizations are usually formed to earn income for their owners, while the public or social enterprise is often founded to raise money and to utilize additional resources to provide public programs. Next slide. There are three common types of business organizations: public, private, and voluntary, and there is often crossover between each types. Defining business size can be surprisingly complex, as no single measure exists. Usually, business size is determined by a combination of factors: the number of employees, the number of outlets or business units, total revenue, overall gross profit, capital investment, and market value. Voluntary sectors: private organizations which have been set up to benefit society. All profit reinvested or donated. Example: Save the Children. Private sector includes sole traders, franchise, partnerships, companies, public and private, joint ventures, and family businesses. Main objective are profit, maximization, and growth. Example: Pepsi Company. The third one is public sector, owned and managed by the state. These services are usually subsidized or free of charge for citizens. Example: NHS. Next slide. The strategic directions of an organization, industries, and markets, as well as establishing clear visions and for our organizations, managers must also determine its directions. Strategy is therefore a fundamental part of the planning process, allowing firms to determine where they want to be in relation to where they currently are. There is no commonly agreed definitions, and the term strategy means different things to different business organizations, not only in terms of what their strategy is, but also how they implement it. That said, most strategic scholars agree that the strategy of an organization should make clear the answer to key questions of identifies, positioning, and purpose, regardless of size, type, or focus then. There should be a clear view of where the organization is, where it wants to be, and how it plans to get there. The level of strategic decision making. Corporates. Descriptions concern the directions and compositions of an organization and the coordinations of the business and activities that comprise large and diversified organizations. Typical areas of decisions, mission of the organization, unique attributes, business portfolio management. Business relates to the operations and directions of each of the individual's business within a group of companies. Typical area of decision is pushing to complete in strategically relevant markets, products offering, and internet management in support of chosen competitive approach. Functionals concern individual business functions and processes such as finance. And typical areas of decisions is translating higher and strategies into operational terms, functions, and process organizations. Next slide. The internal environment. An organization's internal environment is composed of the elements within the organizations, including the current employees, management, and especially corporate culture, which is defines employee behavior. Although some elements affect the organization as a whole, others affect only the manager. A manager philosophical or leadership style directly impacts employees. Traditional managers give explicit instructions to employees, while progressive managers empower employees to make many of their own decisions. Change in philosophy and or leadership style are under the control of the managers. The following sections describe some of the elements that make up the internal environment. Next slide. So internal environment factors. Internal environment is a component of the business environment, which is composed of various elements present inside the organizations that can affect or can be affected with the choices, activities, and decisions of the organization. So there are three components: external environment and internal environment. But in these occasions, we will focus on internal environments, such as organization's culture, human resources, organization structure, physical assets, profit and cash flow, and management. Next slide. Human resources. The knowledge, experience, and capability of organization workers is determining factor of success. For this reason, organizations pay particular attention to the requirement of staff and also to engage in the training of staff and volunteers to build the organization's capability. The second one is organizational culture. The culture within the organization is a very important factor in business success. Organization structures. Business and organizations may be impeded by their structures, constitutions, and a form of governance. Management. The capability, the management team, and the leadership style employed by a manager will also have a major impact on the morale of staff. Assets. The internal environments of organizations can be made richer or poorer by its assets. The last one is financial strength. Financial strength is a factor in its own right that influences the internal environment of the organizations. Thank you so much for your attention. Lastly, Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.